Welcome to UC Today. My name's David Dungay. Today I have with me Tony Martino, CEO of Tollring. Tony, how are you today?
Very well, thank you, David. And how about yourself? Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm out here in my outhouse in my new home office. So excited to be here and excited for our conversation as well, Tony. So
well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so today's topic, we're going to be talking about collaboration, monitoring and analytics. Tony, first of all, tell me about 2020. We've got to talk about it. I'm sure all of us would rather forget about the year that's just gone. But what's that year been like for Tollring, and what has that meant for your analytics proposition?
Well, thank goodness we're in December, right? Looking forward to getting rid of 2020. I think most of us are going to be in consensus there. Look, it's been a challenging year for just life generally, hasn't it? And in terms of from a business perspective, we've seen some rapid changes, haven't we, in the marketplace? And over 2020, we've all had to really think about our own businesses and where the market is taking us, and that rapid shift, as I say, in terms of how we operate and how we do business. And that's no different, of course, for my business, for Tollring. We've had to look at our proposition. We've had to understand what our customers are needing from us, and again, where that market has taken us. And remote working has become the norm now, hasn't it? I mean, unfortunately, I'm in the office today, but it doesn't happen very often. And as a result of this whole shift in remote working, transparency and information has become a real necessity in terms of how we can really deliver effectiveness as organisations. So analytics, whilst they've always been relevant, we've had some fantastic successes over the years as an analytics provider across our kind of UC partners and delivering analytics into those businesses. We've now gone into a world where we're not only shifted in terms of where we're sitting and how we're operating, but it's more about now the tools that we're using to interact both internally and with our customers. So from that perspective, as I say, as an analytics organisation, we've had to look at how we can incorporate the analytics that pertain to those tools that we're using. And collaboration now is, of course, a very dominant part of our life and our working day. So customer experience in a globalized market, has always been the key, really, for customer retention. A lot of our partners are very, very heavily focused in retaining their customers, not just growing. It's about, look, let's make sure we're delivering effectiveness and effective value to our customers. And so customer retention is certainly at the heart, and none more so, really, as I say, over the 2020 year that's here and beyond. So to be able to do that, we've had to really look and see how analytics could be extended to be relevant across all areas of communication. And of course, as I say, collaboration is definitely a big part of that now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it's worth probably mentioning. 2020. It's gone, not great for some people, but these tools have really made a difference for a lot of businesses. And looking forwards, this isn't a temporary sort of change. We're not going to find ourselves, or not all of us anyway, going to find ourselves back in the office all of a sudden. Gartner introduced some interesting statistics recently. 82% of business leaders are looking at continuing some sort of remote working, and I think it was 47, nearly 50% of those business leaders are going to be implementing remote working permanently across the board. So this is really, really, really relevant, ongoing for the foreseeable future, really.
Yeah, look, these tools are here to stay, right? We can see some massive investments being made in all of the big players across our industry in technology. These collaboration tools, the likes of the giants like Microsoft and Zoom and what have you, they're all here to stay. They're not going to go anywhere. We've seen how we can adopt utilising those services. We're seeing our channel partners looking at how they can leverage those tools. They need to work with those capabilities and ensure that there's an enhanced experience there for their customers. And again, it's about how we create a really strong joined up experience that delivers that value back to those end customers, to ensure that that they're able to succeed in these. It's not just succeed, but grow in these times, right? So it's about bringing those things together, and that's a really important point for our channel partners and ourselves. As I said, we extend our capabilities to help them do that.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the channel for a second there. As you mentioned, traditionally the channel has been used to monitoring, calls and those traditional metrics, which I know Tollring will also be familiar with from days of old. What kind of a shift is this for your average channel partner to suddenly go from, right, I'm measuring my calls, but I need to be measuring these statistics that sit around the collaboration piece?
Absolutely, and again, this remaining relevant really as a channel is critical. And yes, it's about extending the proposition from just calls and the ability to understand our contact center, or creating wallboards around that experience, and really making sure that everyone is clear. I mean, we've always been a huge advocate to explain to make clear that. It's not just about the contact center. We see customer experience being very much an entire business element. It's not just, as I say, about customer-facing teams across your organisation outside of the contact center, and really to deliver effective customer experience management and measuring. You needed to always look at all customer-facing elements across an organisation, and then bringing that information together, to create this holistic understanding. And none more so now, where we've gone from that our calling capability into now collaboration. And collaboration, we're talking Microsoft Teams and the like, and it's the ability to really understand that we're actually we're engaging with our customers now, not just through calling, but as I say, through these other tools. And how do we bring that information together to really create an effective customer understanding and customer experience understanding? And I see the channel, a transitioning there, that everyone gets it, right? It's not about education now. It's really about, this is just a market shift, or a demand, if you like, into collaboration and bringing not just, as I said, the UC piece, but the collaboration piece together. And analytics there's a natural extension there, and our partners are seeing it, and their customers are asking for it. So it's a natural extension. It's about how we take the good stuff that we all do collectively today, and as I say, extend that into this wider piece. And then you've got a really powerful play with respect to a real understanding of customer engagement, staff productivity, and staff well-being, of course, as well. Those three things are very important.
I mean, it's interesting you say that. The channel is it's not in that, they're not in that education sort of phase anymore. It's just we know where we've got to get to. We've just got to physically get there now. I mean, from a channel that traditionally, looking at the past, has maybe been a bit slow to adopt some trends. They seem to be motoring at the moment. What is this purely pandemic sparked? They know they've got to change, and they know they've got to change quick.
Well, I think it's a bit of both. So, I mean, up until the pandemic, our industry was moving pretty quickly, right? The move to cloud, UCaaS, CCaaS. There was a lot of really important decisions being made in terms of how we deliver our technology to our end customer, and businesses themselves have really looked at a massive shift to the cloud over the last few years, and certainly before the pandemic we would have thought things were moving pretty quickly, as it was. So yes, I think obviously the pandemic has accelerated that even further. But we were in a fortunate position as an industry, weren't we? In that we were already, making the right steps and delivering the right types of solutions to our end customers. So I think it's really, it's just been an acceleration, of course, a fairly considerable one at that. But we already had the building blocks in place, and we were already going through quite a transformation already, weren't we? So I just, yes, it's been pretty full on, but I think, as I say, we've had those tools in place, and a lot of people, as you quite rightly said earlier, have really taken advantage of being in a really strong position to really, as I say, take advantage of this change.
Yeah. Okay. So customer experience metrics. You mentioned a few there, Tony. What is an effective customer experience metric? How do we measure this effectiveness? How do we really grasp this with analytics?
Yeah, so with the way that, as I say, we're now interacting with our customers, we're seeing a number of different things in play. Yes, we still have, of course, our more traditional routes with respect to calling into our support teams, our customer service teams, our sales areas in a business. These areas are still absolutely relevant and very, very important. But we're also seeing now that in order to really measure customer experience effectively, we also need to look at what's happening outside of those more traditional routes into our organisations. Looking at collaboration, looking at something like Microsoft Teams, where we're heavily involved in Teams meetings all the time. So a lot of those meetings have external participants. They have our customers that we're engaging with. And there's a lot of that now that needs to really be factored in to that experience. So it's not just about the kind of cradle to grave calling journeys. It's about the journeys that we're seeing around how we are interacting with our customers that are, as I say, through these collaboration tools. We're sharing files. We're having messaging, and not just calls, as I say, messaging and meetings. How do we kind of bring all of that data together to really then understand how we are engaging with those customers? Okay, so customer experience is now really extended. It's gone beyond, as I say, those more traditional routes. And if we can bring those things together, we're able then to get a much better understanding, as I say, of how we are dealing with our customers more effectively. So, as I say, it's just a natural extension from where we were or are today from a calling perspective, and then bringing in, as I say, understanding of the messaging, understanding of our meeting collaboration, and understanding around file sharing, and what sort of what that landscape looks like when we're talking and dealing with our customers. Bringing that together really then creates a much better and more effective understanding of customer experience. And it really does start with those internal measurements as well. So, understanding what our staff is doing improves our customer experience so much as well. So it's bringing those internal elements together and understanding how that impacts the way we're dealing with our customers.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about Teams quickly. You mentioned there, obviously Tollring doing quite a lot there with Microsoft Teams on the analytics front. Teams, 115 million daily active users. What can you say? What a growth story they have there. For anyone who follows Microsoft Teams, they probably have noticed. Microsoft are releasing their own sort of style of analytics. Slowly but surely. But for those people who maybe not on their analytics journey just yet, or haven't really gone down the rabbit hole on that front, what the advantages of going with sort of a pure play analytics provider, with that focus. What are you really giving on top of what Microsoft spits out naturally?
Yeah, great question. I mean, look, where we see the real value of analytics is about having the capability to understand it in context with what you do as a business. Okay, so people's roles are changing. We're all in a completely different place now. A lot of organisations have less people. What those roles that those individuals are doing are also different. Our business objectives are also changing. So it's about trending. It's about understanding what's happening now, but also with relevance to what you do as an organisation and what those changes look like, right? So that transparency around that shift is very, very important. So it's not just about the metrics, it's about how you apply those to your business needs, your business objectives. So, what Microsoft have done so well with respect to Teams is they've opened up the data sets to allow organizations like us to really leverage that data. Okay, so whilst they have some reporting and some the ability for you to kind of have a look at some of that information, it really doesn't deep dive it to say, how am I going to be able to apply this to make better business decisions and outcomes? That's what the difference is. So what we are looking to do is leverage that information along with the other data sets that we are privileged to also take into our portfolio, and then, as I say, deliver this full experience or full understanding of how we are in fact engaging both collectively, internally as well as externally with our customers. So that's the real difference. It's about making real sense of the information based on your customer, your business objectives.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, part of that decision making is around that employee experience first. We're seeing a lot of issues and challenges at a business level that perhaps we weren't really prepared for. Back in March, it was a very functional, let's get home, let's get set up for remote working, and let's make this happen. But the sort of consequences of people being, perhaps isolated at home without the sort of the tools that go around just doing the job, really these analytics can play quite a big role in that. I mean, talk to me about that. How is that impacting, firstly, I guess, employee experience, or maybe even employee well-being as well?
Yeah, 100%. It was all about mobilizing the workforce, right? Everyone was like, how are we going to get everyone receiving those calls, handling our customer inquiries, being able to, be effective in their roles from home. Okay, a lot of us perhaps take it for granted. We work from home occasionally or what have you, or even permanently. But to actually mobilise your entire workforce to move into a work from home element or capability was the first priority. Okay, and of course, March came and all of a sudden we were locked down and we needed to make those decisions and ensure that tech was right for us as an organisation. It's now really shifted. It's like, you were saying earlier, it's become perhaps the norm, and certainly this is here to stay in terms of this hybrid capability, hybrid workforce as we have it. And so now it's about, okay, we're good. We're able to, the technology is deployed. We understand that, what we needed to do that. But now how do we actually measure and ensure that we're being effective? Okay, and I mentioned earlier that we're seeing customer retention as being almost a key priority for our partners and certainly, as I say, the businesses that they support. So it's about then saying, well, how can we ensure that this working from home in this hybrid world, how do we ensure that our staff firstly have the knowledge and the sharing of the information that allows them, empowers them to do a great job? And how do we ensure that they're okay? Okay, so this well-being piece is also really, really important. So it's about productivity, making sure they have the information, and no one's being left behind. Things are moving just as quickly now. Ensuring that that knowledge is shared within our organisation is critical, and measuring how effective that information, that knowledge is being shared is, I think, really paramount. And we're seeing customers come to us saying, we need to know what's happening. We need to understand what people need, what our staff need from us. And again, understanding, for example, how many of them are looking at some of the Teams channels and are downloading files and information from channels that have been set up, who are part of those channels, who's been missed out perhaps with respect to that information. So all of that is really critical. That's where we're seeing the shift. It's gone from getting the technology in place now to let's make sure it's effective and let's make sure our customers are as happy as they can be. And as I say, those two are very, very critical. And then, of course, off the back of that, is everyone okay? What is our, are our employees happy? Are we seeing a trend, for example, that's showing some negative connotations? Perhaps individuals were partaking more in meetings and now less so. We're seeing less, the sentiment is looking less positive. These changes in people's behaviour are absolutely fundamental, David. And what we're looking to monitor, as I say, is trending that information from the time we've moved into our home working to now, which is effectively a BAU experience. How are we doing? How are we coping with that, both as individuals as well as how we measure our effectiveness against our customer experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, those managers out there who are, they're now having to learn how to manage this remote workforce. That's a challenge. That's a whole new learning phase for that layer of the organisation as well.
100%. And whilst we're seeing, we're a business that have delivered call analytics and call recording solutions, and we've been fortunate enough to have been on the cloud journey in delivering these solutions for many, many years now. And of course, leveraging that experience has really put us in a good place. We're able now, as I say, not just to look at, extending perhaps our recording story into Teams, which is, of course, one of the things which we are doing, and being able to kind of leverage the cloud capabilities that we have to effectively manage that data. But again, it's about now empowering that information even further by looking at the collaboration elements of it. And then, as I've been saying, bringing that information together to create this holistic understanding. And you then can apply that to those three pillars as we talk about, which is the customer engagement and staff productivity and well-being. And by looking at that information, it's amazing what insights you can gain that you can leverage to really, effectively manage your business outcomes and the changes that we're all going on. Every business is having to really make some very, very important decisions, business saving decisions. The rate at which we're having to react to the change in our circumstances is quite incredible. And having this information at your fingertips is definitely driving effective decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, Tony, looking ahead to next year, you're absolutely right. I think we're going to see a lot of change. Data is going to be an important part of managing that change and making those decisions. What are your sort of expectations of 2021? I don't know how you really set your expectations in the current environment, but what's on your agenda? What do you think is coming out of the Tollring camp next year?
Well, our big play, certainly in Q1 next year, in the February sort of window, is our launch of our Analytics 365 proposition. We, as I say, have had the privilege, if you like, of working closely with Microsoft. All of the work we've been doing to date over our kind of cloud enablement of our solutions has been within the Azure stack. We're a Microsoft Gold partner. We've been working well in that environment in delivering our existing solutions there. And as I say, for us, it was a natural extension to bring in the collaboration piece. We're starting with Microsoft Teams. And we're looking, as I say, at launching our Analytics 365 extension to our suite of analytics products. Within Analytics 365, we'll be we'll launch the analytics piece around, as I say, Teams from a staff productivity, performance, well-being, and the customer engagement piece as well. That we're really, really excited about that. This is, as I say, not just the ability to take calls from teams and deliver our existing solution, the iCall Suite portfolio. This is very much about bringing out collaboration analytics, as I say, across meetings, across messages and sentiment and what have you. So that will happen, and we're going to see that really accelerate our development over 2021, whereby we're looking to really bring analytics across a wider piece across the Microsoft ecosystem. And again, that's very exciting as well. And then, of course, bringing in compliant Teams recording, the ability to utilize, as I say, our Azure stack to be able to do that, and also, as I say, leverage that information to deliver this capability across, as I say, all of the data sets. This is really exciting for us. That's going to see us, our 21 product strategy, if you like, will be accelerated through the months of 2021. We're going to look to launch that across our existing portfolio of channel partners. We see us being able to, of course, extend that because to partners that we're not dealing with today through, as I say, our team strategy. And so it's really, really exciting for us. And again, building on the services that we have in the market today around delivering call recording AI. We've got a huge play around voice AI and how we bring that into our portfolio across these services. So we've got a really busy 2021, David. And I think, again, keeping an eye on how this market is changing and how we are able to remain relevant and deliver products and services that our business customers require is obviously paramount. So again, it's all hands on deck and making sure we have a really successful 2021, not just for us, of course, but also our partners as well. It's critical that we're able to empower them to be able to deliver effective services in a changing world, right? So we want to enable them to be able to be the trusted advisor for their customers and be able to deliver this kind of fully rounded service to our to those mobilized remote working workforces and end customers. It's really, really important that we, as I say, are able to extend our services across these new technologies.
Excellent. Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing what 2021 holds for Tollring.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for having me, David. It's been great.
And thank you for watching. You've been watching UC Today with me, David Dungay. I'll see you next time.